Hey everybody, Craig here, OldBayCraps. We're back at the table for session number 19. We are at stick right, and we're ready to get this started. We're doing the 5-4, 5-4 set. We're throwing the underhand toss with instructions from Gargoyle and Ed, and now we're back to our original spot, and we'll be continuing the original spot for the remainder of the sessions leading up to Tuesday's episode 5 of Unraveling the Mysteries of Dice Influence. So without further ado, you can follow along in the roll track history. Let's get started. We had a 5-3-8. There's a 6-5 yo, mid-mo yo. Chiro's helping us out. And they fell out of my hand. That's the best description I can give you. They fell out of my hand. It's going to be a 6-3-9. Must have been holding on to them just a little too light. That was a bit aggressive. It's going to be a 2-1-3. So they went off to the right, and most likely because the corners of the dice hit the table. It's going to be a 6-4-10. That was a better throw. Not great, but OldBay bushel, back-to-back 10s. So I tell you, that felt more like a toss than pushing the dice. Like a toss upward. It's going to be a 3-1-4, the sister number. Let's see if we can get the throwing lane down to about 2 inches off the table. The 2 inches off the table was there, but I threw them to the right. 5-1-6, the mixer. It was a little high off the table, about 6 inches. I need to get the dice much lower. But there's the tall. That was a good throw, but the dice kissed each other when they ran into the wall. It's going to be a 4-5-9. That was a good throw. They were just a bit too much energy. 6, 4, 10. One more 10 and we flip it. So what that entails, if you're flipping the 4 or 10, you start with a $35 bet on the 10, you win 70, take it to 100, $5 vig. Next hit, collect the 200 for the $5 vig. Next hit, increase it to 350 with your $200 hit. And then you drop an $18 vig. And the next hit, you win over $1,000. So there's an ace deuce. And if you want to see a video on flipping the 4 and 10, go like and subscribe to Dice Degen, who's running his March Madness tournament right now on his channel. He has a great shorts video on how to flip the 4 and 10. So those went off to the left, hit the hook. They stayed together though. There's a 4-1-5. There's a 5-4-9. There's a double Degen. Go like and subscribe to Dice Degen's channel. Heart 6. So what Gargoyle said is to keep them low to the ground, or low to the layout, no more than 2 inches off the ground, to like bowl it forward. That was 1 inch off the ground, and it hit probably midfield and dribbled to the right. There's a 2-5-7 out. But we started off with a 16 roller. And we hit the tall. It just needed the aces for the all. Not a bad start. So those dug right into the table. These are new dice, by the way. Not the green one, but the red one. But I haven't used the green ones much. But they are sharp enough, and they're digging into the table pretty good. So to come out 3, if you're playing the world bet. There's a double Degen, hard 6. 6 will be the point. I love the way they slowed down to a crawl, but they stayed together through here. There's a 1-3-4. There's a 6-5 mid-mo-yo. Chiro is a dear friend of ours that we lost last year. And his channel is still up and running, so please give him a like and subscribe. He's got some really great content, especially his here's the deal scenarios. Here's a 639. There's a 4-6-10. That green die hit pretty aggressively off the wall. So that was a little high off the table, like 4 inches. And the left die got away from my ring finger, pushed it. 2-5-7 out. That was a short roll. I think that was a 6. 7. That was a 7 roller. I like the way they rolled, but the left die got away from the right die. It's going to be a 3-2-5. I do like the way they're rolling. Just need them to roll together. There's a buckshot. Now what's interesting is during the show on Tuesday, I'm going to be inquiring about dice sets, suggested dice sets to use. Since we were using the 5-4-5-4 for mechanics purposes, although we've had some successful rolls with the 5-4-5-4, I'm wondering if there's a set that works with my particular underhand toss. I like the way they rolled. 3-1-4. Now yesterday I think I was starting to describe on axis and off axis. So that one, the left die was ahead of the right die. It's going to be a 1-3-4 again. So in that particular one, it was a single pitch of the right die, the red one, and it was a off axis on the left die. And we hit the point again. 3-2-5. So the red die was a double pitch, and the left die, or green die, was a single pitch. There's a 4-6-10. And my back is feeling it from yesterday, from moving it back to the stick right 2 position, having my arm on the railing. and it's just because I haven't been used to it. I went away from it for nine straight sessions. So we are killing the 5 right today. 3-2-5. But right now, 5's not the point. That's the point, 6-4-10, which we just made. Just want to check something on the roll tracker, give my back a rest. All right. So we're looking for a new point. So the dice crisscrossed. It's gonna be a mid-mo-yo. Frontline winner. So they were thrown low to the ground. There's aces. And that's going to be off axis. Whoa, dice off table, too tall to call. So the red die skipped down here, took a big bounce, and went right off and hit the computer. That is a no roll. That's a no roll. So if you're suspicious about that, turn your bets off. And there's a 5-2-7. So if you turned your bets off, like I said, but the other thing is that was a come out 7. So you didn't. So your bets were already off. That's another come out 7. Pay the line, take the don'ts. All right, so right now, and I'm just going to do it for this roll. The right die is double pitching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch it down 1 to a 3-5-5-4. And there's a 4-2-6. So 6 will be the point. So we have a new point. I'm going to go back to the 5-4-5-4. And there's a 1-3-4. There's a 325, very popular number today. And the dice exploded when they hit. And it's going to be a 4, 3, 7, ouch. But that was a 17 roller. So we've had a 16. Is that right? A 16, a 7, and a 17. Our SRR right now is 8.0. And our SOR is 13, over 13. There's a 5-6 yo, that's a come out. Pay the line, take the don'ts. It's a mid-mo yo. Boy, I like the way that they rolled down. They came in hot, but it's going to be a 2x4. 6 easy. 6 will be the point. That's all we needed last shooter, was the point of 6. And we would have had ourselves a 3-point fire bet, but we missed it. Didn't hit it. That was a terrible throw. I felt it come off my fingers. Really weird. But it's going to be back-to-back 2x4s. Same variety. So it's a buckshot. Wow. Back to back to back 2x4s of the same result. Left die double pitching, right die single pitching, on axis throw. So the left die went off to the left, hit the hard part of the wall, and it's our favorite dice combination today, a 2, 3, 5. But 5 is not the point. 6 is the point. There's a midnight. And we'll check after this roll to see what how many rolls we have in. Because I don't know if my back can finish this session. That was a bit aggressive, but they stayed together. Bounced off together. 2, 6, 8. And that was roll 47. So we're almost halfway there. Dice definitely went to the left. Dice landed short. It's going to be a hard 4. So that was a double pitch of both die. So the red die just stopped. And it's going to be back-to-back hard 4s. So if you're parlaying it, congratulations. I think it's very hard to get back-to-back hard fours. So that toss was too high. That was not low to the layout. So it's going to be the sister hardway, OldBay bushel. It's 3 hardways in a row. We got a 6-2 easy 8. What was the point? Oh, the point is 6. I thought the point might be 8. They came in hot. So I gotta ease up on the aggression there. 6-3-9. And we just hit the tall again. There's another hard 4. We got a mid-mo-yo, 6-5. And I'm just going to take a 5-second break to bend over, touch toes, stretch my back. I just felt something pop back into place. So this kind of split on the way down. It's going to be a hard 8. Man, we're hitting some hard ways in this shooter. I wonder how many hard ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've thrown 5 hard ways in this shooter, and maybe more. I can only see the roll tracker for so long. That red die hit the sidewall. It's going to be a 5-3 easy 8. So I think what's going to help my back is to not grab the rail until I'm ready to shoot. I was grabbing it while I was setting up the dice. Not a great roll. It's going to be a 6-4 easy 10. There we go. I like the way they went down. That's another hard 8. Square pair. I think Square Pair is a channel with Jake and Rob. Go check their channel out. I thought they just got back into doing videos again. Check them out. So those dice stayed together. It's going to be a 6-2-8 easy. And we might have just hit the repeater on the 8. No? Yep, we just hit the repeater on the 8. That is very hard to do because you need, I believe you need 6 of them to hit the repeater on the 8. So with that one, the landing zone hit too early. Too early, and once they hit, there's a 156. Did that finally hit the point? Finally, we hit the point. Good Lord. That was a long string of numbers without hitting the point. But anyway, that particular throw, the landing was too early. So the dice went off to the left, hit the hard part. It's going to be midnight again. And I believe now we've hit the repeater on the midnight. Yep, just hit the repeater on midnight. This is the come out roll. Looking for another point. That had the right amount of energy. But it's going to be a come out 7. 4-3. We did hit the tall, but it's going to reset the ATS. But out of all of that, we've only hit 1 point. Another come out 7. It's going to tank our SRR temporarily down to 7.9. Our SOR is over 15. So I know we're over halfway done. That's 3 come out 7s in a row. So if you are parlaying your pass line, congratulations. Again, it's going to kill our SRR. It just dropped from 7.9 to 7.1. There's a mid-mo yo. That's our 4th pass line winner. Mid-mo yo. I like the way they traveled. It's going to be a 4-2-6. 6 will be the point, which was already the point that took forever to get the point, to make the point after establishing it. Now we got to do it again. There's a 5-6 yo, mid-mo yo. And I think we might have hit the, no we haven't. I think it's going to take one more yo to hit the repeater. The only table with a repeater bet that I know of, or that I've seen, and I haven't been to too many casinos, is Harrah's in Vegas has a crapless with the repeater bet. There's a 1-4-5. Haven't really seen that combination of 5 today. We've seen a lot of 3-2s. Like the way they traveled, they just hit too hard off the back wall. 3-6-9. I'm going to take just a few second break from my back. All right, that was roll 73. That green die just died. Just died right here on the pass line. 4-3-7 out. That was a 30 roller. Let's get another point. So this felt like they chunked. They were low enough, but they just chunked when they hit. It's going to be a 2-6-8. 8's going to be the point. For some reason I couldn't get it down there. That green die landed early and just stopped. It's going to be a 6-3-9. So not holding on to the rail while I'm setting the dice is helping my back. Those came down a little aggressive, but they came down together. It's going to be another 6-3-9. So the left die is off axis, and the right die was a single pitch. So I like the way they went down together. I don't like the way they split. But they split once they, I think, hit the wall. It's going to be a 4-6-10 easy. There's a 2-6-8, so we hit the point. So we're definitely hitting a lot of uptown numbers. There's a 3-6-9. 9 will be the point. There's a hard 8. The red dye really bounced off that back wall pretty good. Green dye just died. It's going to be a mid-mo yo. That was probably the prettiest shot of the entire session. And it's interesting that it's a 3-2-5. That was beautiful. That was a little high. It's going to be the double D-Gen, hard 6. So I believe on that one, the green dye actually hit the red dye and got behind it. So just like that, they came down and the green dye hit the red one from behind and shot over to the right. It's going to be a 4-1-5. They traveled together, but then they split. It's going to be a mid-mo yo. And there's a 1-6-7 out. That was roll 83. And that was another quality roll. But looking at the rolls, we made 1 point. Point of 8. I can hear Gargoyle and Ed in my head. I dare you to do better. Here's a 3-5-8. Eight'll be the point. There's a 6-3-9. So the green die hit the sidewall, but we lucked out. It's a 6-3-9. They're chunking again. I don't like that. It's going to be a 5-1 mixer. Whoa! Dice off table, too tall to call. We haven't heard that kind of noise in weeks. And already today we threw one into the computer and then we just threw one off the table. Too much energy. Hard 4, that was a little bit better. Still went into the hook though. Those lost energy. 6, 4, 10. Wow, I have not thrown dice off the table in so long. And here I am doing it multiple times within a shooter. Holy crap. No roll, too tall to call. There's a 2, 4, 6. Still not the point. The point is 8. Those did all kind of bouncing. There's the 8. Hit the point. Took a while. So this is the come out roll. Dice went off to the left. It's going to be a come out 7. 5, 2. Dice split hardcore there. It's going to be a 3, 5, 8 again. 8 will be the point. I like the way they traveled. There's a favorite dice combo of today. 3, 2, 5. So the dice went off to the left, hit the wall. But it's going to be another 1, 4, 5. But 8 is the point, not 5. So and there's a 5, 2, 7 out. 5, 2, son of a bitch. That was a 13 roller though. 4th consecutive. And that was also roll 96. So this is the come out roll. Gonna be a hard 4. We've seen a lot of those today. Normally we see the 1-3. We might have had more hard 4s than we had easy 4s today. Bit aggressive. It's going to be a 6-4 easy 10. And that's not going to happen. I was trying to do my best to get 5 consecutive quality rolls, and I still can't do it. That was roll 99. 7 out, short roll. This is roll 100. It's going to be a hard 6. Double D-gen. Alright, so this is the last shooter. Six, 3, 9. See if we can get one more point. There's a 4-1-5. So the dice hit each other when they came off the wall. It's going to be an OldBay bushel, hard 10. Definitely hitting some hard ways today. So that hit to the left, hit the wall. It's going to be a 6-2-8. I like that shot a lot. Even though the red die came back forcibly, or forcefully, I don't know which one. It's gonna be 6-4-10. I like the way they traveled. There's a 5-1 mixer. So we hit the point. Terrible throw. It's going to be a come out 7, 6-1. that green die just chunked. It landed 3 feet from the back wall and just stopped. 459 will be the point. There's a 639 buckshot. No, it's not a 639. It's a 437. Maybe I need new glasses. All right, that's not a buckshot. That's PSO. All right, so we're gonna end with 109 rolls today, and I'll let you know what our SRR is in just a second when the 7 registers in the tracker. All right, we're gonna end with a final SRR of 7.3 and an SOR of 13.6. So out of 8 shooters, 6 of them were quality rolls, including a 30 roller, and I believe we hit the tall twice today. All right. All right, that was session 19 of OBC's rollout of DI practice. Getting ready for Tuesday's show, March 19th, on both, I think, Ed Voldawin's channel as well as Jeff Mid-Atlantic-Craps channel. So check it out Tuesday night. We're going to do a final assessment on the toss. And yeah, so there you have it. Thanks for joining me. Hit that like and subscribe. I really wish you would leave a comment, please. That'd be great. I'd love to hear your feedback. I know that throwing videos tend not to be as popular as strategy videos, but I implore you to hang with me. I'll get back to some videos with betting soon enough, but I want to take this opportunity to thank Gargoyle, Ed, Jeff, and Chris, Sideshow Gamble. Again, without them, none of this is possible. And today's Saturday, so tomorrow's Sunday. Season your play.